All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into this incredible ancient text, Proverbs chapter 2, and it frames the whole idea of wisdom in a really different way. It's not some lesson you just learn in a classroom, right? It's more like a high-stakes quest. We're not talking about just collecting facts here. This is about a complete, fundamental transformation. So let's just start with this question right here. What if I told you that real wisdom, true understanding, isn't something that's just handed to you? Something you can just download. What if you actually had to find it? Like, search for it like it's a hidden treasure. That's the core idea. That's the metaphor we're going to unpack together today. Okay, so the whole chapter is basically built on this really powerful if-then idea. It's a classic proposition. It starts by laying out exactly what you have to do, what your part is in this whole quest, and only then does it reveal what you're going to get out of it. And right from the get-go, it's super clear this isn't a passive thing at all. You're not just sitting back and waiting for wisdom to zap you from the sky. No, it's all about a deliberate, kind of intense personal search. You have to go find it. You're the one on the hunt. So here it is. This is the if part of that if-then statement. It's like a checklist for the seeker. First, you've got to accept my words and store up my commands. Then, you turn your ear to wisdom. You apply your heart to understanding. See how it's getting more active? And it keeps going. You call out for insight. And then, the big one, you search for it as if it's actual hidden treasure. It's a real progression from just taking things in to actively, passionately going after it. Okay, so you do all that stuff on the checklist. It's a pretty demanding list, right? So what's the point? Well, this is where the text completely pivots. It's the then part. If you do all those things, then what happens? This next part is all about the incredible reward for that search. And I just love how the text builds the suspense here. It's beautiful. First, it makes you focus on your side of the bargain, on your commitment. And only after that's established does it kind of pull back the curtain and show you the prize. And, this is so important, it shows you where the treasure actually comes from. And here's the big reveal. The whole point is that your search doesn't just lead you to a thing, it leads you to a source. The text says, "For the Lord gives wisdom." So get this, wisdom isn't something you just dig up out of the ground. It's a gift. The whole treasure hunt is designed to lead you straight to the one who's giving the treasure away. And wow, the rewards, they go way beyond just, being smart or clever. The payoff here is huge. It says you'll understand the fear of the Lord, you'll find the knowledge of God, and, listen to this, He holds success in store, He's a shield, He guards and protects you. Think about that. Success, a shield, protection. These are just the first layers of the treasure you start to find. Okay, so that's the big picture. But how does this actually work day to day? Well, the text shifts gears now from these big ideas to something super personal. It shows us how wisdom literally becomes a protective force in your life, almost like a personal guardian. And I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. Discretion and understanding, they're not just skills you have, like things in your toolkit. The text describes them as active guardians that literally protect you and watch over you. It's like having this built-in GPS, this internal guidance system that helps you make the right calls and navigate life safely, keeping you from taking a wrong turn. And the choice you have to make is presented with, zero ambiguity. It's crystal clear. The chapter lays out just two paths. That's it. On one side, you've got straight paths, the ways of the good, the paths of the righteous. And on the other, dark ways, perverse words, crooked and devious paths. There's no middle ground here, no gray area. And wisdom? Wisdom is the thing that keeps you on that first path. Now, to make this even more real, the text doesn't just talk about dangers in some vague way. It actually gives these threats a face. It personifies them. And it says wisdom, your personal guardian, will specifically save you from two types of people who are the living examples of that crooked path. So danger number one is the wicked man. This is the person who has made a very conscious choice to just abandon the straight path. And listen to the language used to describe him. He leaves the straight paths, he walks in dark ways, he delights in doing wrong, and he actually rejoices in perverseness. His whole life is pointed toward what's crooked and devious and dark. And the second danger is the wayward woman. This one is described as a force of seduction, someone who uses these incredibly alluring, seductive words, but it all leads to absolute ruin. She's left her partner, she's ignored her covenant, it's all about betrayal. And the warning here is incredibly severe. Her house leads down to death. Her paths, they literally lead to the dead. It's not just a detour, it's a dead end. So, all of this brings us to the final and pretty sobering conclusion of the chapter. Because, you see, it's not enough to just describe the two paths. The text has to show you exactly where each one ends up. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's the final part of that big then statement. So that whole journey that started with a series of ifs has now reached its final, definitive then. The consequences for choosing one path over the other, they're laid out for everyone to see. There's no hiding from it. For the people who go on the quest, who choose the path of wisdom, the outcome is all about stability, its security, its permanence. The text says, "For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it." It's this deep promise of belonging, of putting down roots and enduring. And then, the contrast just couldn't be more stark. For those on the other path, the outcome is the total opposite. It's violent separation. It's loss. Listen to the words. "But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it." Wow. It's a fate of just being completely uprooted and exiled. So that brings us right back to where we started with a question for you. Look, we live in an age of just endless information, right? You can Google literally anything. But this ancient blueprint suggests that real wisdom, it has nothing to do with information. It's about a search for something that's hidden, a treasure. So in our world, a world drowning in data, what does that treasure hunt actually look like for you and me today?